All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really powerful Nepali poem. And what it does is it uses this one single, incredibly sharp metaphor to paint just a devastating picture of a political leader. It's all about broken promises and, the cynical games people play to hold on to power.
So the poem's entire argument, all its anger, all its insight, it's all captured in this one brilliant, really biting Nepali phrase. It translates to the witch herself, the shaman herself. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so the whole critique is built around this central paradox, the witch and the shaman. The idea here is that the leader isn't just, failing to solve problems. No, it's way deeper than that. They're accused of playing two totally conflicting roles at the exact same time. And here it is. This is the core accusation right here. The leader is basically being called a figure who secretly causes the problem. That's the witch's curse part. And then they turn around and publicly offer the solution. The shaman's healing? It's like starting a fire just so you can be the one to put it out and look like a hero. The goal? To make yourself seem essential, to hold on to power.
So the poem takes this central idea and then starts to lay out the specifics. It gets into what the speaker sees as a complete and total betrayal of the social contract, that basic agreement between a voter and the person they elect. It's about promise versus reality.
And wow, this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at the imbalance here. On the one side, you have what the voter gave, their vote, their trust, but also power, a salary, a luxury car, a throne. And what did they get in return? The poem says, betrayal. And this phrase, the gulf, which is a really powerful reference to the tragic reality of so many young people having to leave the country just to find work. And a sense of betrayal just gets deeper. The poem talks about the representative's voice, the one tool the people gave them, and claims it was just completely flipped on its head. I mean, think about it. The whole mandate was to speak for justice, right? But the reality? Speaking against it. They were supposed to speak against the powerful for the weak. But what happened? The poem claims they did the exact opposite. So you might be asking, okay, but how does this actually happen? How is this power maintained? Well, the poem doesn't just describe the betrayal, it actually breaks down the strategy behind it. It gives us a look at the tactics of control. And here is that witch and shaman strategy laid out as a sort of cynical four-step playbook. Step 1, you incite social conflict. You stir the pot. Step 2, you step in and pretend to be the mediator, the calm voice of reason. Step 3, you emerge from the chaos that you helped create as the savior. And finally, step 4, you use that newfound status to lock down your power. It's a pretty dark formula. And the poem gets even more specific about the tools used for this manipulation. It talks about treating citizens as fools and slaves, using lures and illusions to divide the youth, actively crushing society's potential just to stay on top. And of course, that classic divide and rule mantra, politicizing everything, caste, religion, community, all for personal gain. And how do you secure this kind of power? Well, according to the poem, you build an echo chamber. You surround yourself with what's called a bhajan mandali, which is basically a praise-singing troupe. It's a circle of yes-men and bootlickers who are, as it says here, showered with affection. But the flip side, as the poem points out, is that any hint of disagreement, even the smallest difference of opinion, gets crushed immediately. Okay, so this all leads to the consequences. What is the real cost of all this? The poem then just lays out this devastating list, a catalog of neglect, all the societal problems that this leader, who is completely absorbed in their own world, just willfully ignores. And the list just goes on and on, creating this feeling of an overwhelming crisis. It's not just one thing, it's everything, all at once. No new jobs, young people falling into addiction, the brain drain of the nation's best and brightest, failing education, failing health, crumbling infrastructure, even attacks on culture and the environment. It's a picture of a society just decaying, and the poem's point is that it's all happening while the leader isn't even looking. And then, boom, right after that long, painful list of society's problems, the poet hits us with this, a simple but absolutely damning description of the leader's daily routine. Morning, lost in luxury. Afternoon, lost in feasts. Night, lost in pleasure. While the country is crumbling, their life is just this endless cycle of indulgence.
I mean, it's the classic image, isn't it? The poem is making a direct comparison here. It's like Nero fiddling while Rome burns. The leader is portrayed as someone completely detached, totally indifferent to the massive catastrophe that's happening all around them.
But here's where it gets really interesting. After all of that anger, all that incredibly detailed criticism, you'd expect a big, fiery call to action, right? But that's not how the poem ends. Instead, it leaves us with this quiet, kind of haunting observation. And this is it. This is the final line that just hangs in the air. After describing a country that is chaotic, destroyed, scattered, all because of this leader, the speaker just states a simple fact. And yet, they are my representative. It's this moment of really profound, really troubling recognition. The problem is still there. They're still in charge. And that's where the poem leaves us all. It takes this very specific critique and blows it up into this timeless, universal question. It's not just about this one person in this one poem. It forces us to ask, what is the price of political indifference? What's the ultimate cost when we, the people, just look away?